Hey! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the globe you are in, welcome to Crypto Gaga, bringing you the latest in cryptocurrency news, updates, and analysis. We have a fantastic episode lined up for you today. We take a look at the markets, we look at the Bitcoin charts to look at where we stand on the three potential scenarios. Is Litecoin setting up for a big move? We look at the Litecoin USD chart, the Litecoin Bitcoin pair, and look at some of the whale accumulation activity. Is MATIC the new Ethereum? We will deep dive into all of these today. If you like the content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you get an update every time we put out new content. It really would mean a lot to me. Bitcoin is showing some weakness. It's currently at 41,991, down 2.48% for the day. Ethereum is down minus 4.6%, while Cardano's actually done fairly well for itself given the current sea of red. It's currently at $1.48, which is up 5.85% in the last 24 hours. The market is still in fear at the moment, and historically, these are good accumulation times. These are good times for us to accumulate. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. In the first video that I put out, and I highly recommend that you go check it out if you still haven't seen that, we look at three scenarios. This is scenario one, where I think we are doing some kind of an A, B, and C, which is essentially a running flat correction, where we make an ABC to make the A wave, there's an ABC to make the B wave, and then there's a 5-wave correction down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Are we doing something like that? That's option A. If we're doing something like that, there is a possibility that we've already bottomed out, and what we are seeing here is some sideways consolidation where we will form a base, go sideways, and then the uptrend could potentially continue. That is the first scenario. There is another scenario that we could still go down significantly, go down to the 30s, perhaps even the early 30s, something like this. The correction could run deep, which means we could be in this 5-wave correction, we could be somewhere around the 4th wave. So there'll be something like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 3rd wave. There's like a 3rd and the 4th wave somewhere here. This is the end of the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and we could still have one more wave coming down to complete this correction right here. And then, as you can see here, the uptrend could continue. There's a fourth possibility as well on Bitcoin, which is perhaps that 69,000 was the Bitcoin top and we are in a bear market, and which means that, there is a possibility that we could A, come down, but we could still do a retrace before, the bear market continues. And we could see something like that potentially playing out for Bitcoin. We have to look at all possibilities. I think our number one job as an investor, as a trader, as a market participant is to stay objective without any kind of a prior bias at all times. So this is something we also need to be prepared for. So far, if you look at this, there is a possibility we could be somewhere here. Now, either we could still go higher, then come down and sweep up the lows right here. Like I said, we could go back into the 30s. Even in this situation, even if we go down to somewhere in the 30s, there is a possibility that we come back for one final retrace. And at all tops, even the 2017 top, 2013 top, market never goes down in a straight line. You always come back for a retrace. And I do see that even if we sweep up these lows, we will probably come back somewhere between 54,000 to 57,000. It could go as high somewhere over here to around 58, 59,000, or like nobody knows, right? But we will play one level at a time and see what the market has to offer. That's on Bitcoin. I did put out a video, the last episode, on Litecoin, and we did a deep dive into the current price action that we are seeing on Litecoin and a bunch of activities. On the USD pair, the 2017 price action and the 2021 price action does look very, very similar, and here we've outlined and compared the two in great detail in the previous video. If you haven't seen it, please do check it out, and a big shout out to the entire Litecoin family for showing their support to the channel. Here is a comparison of the 2017 chart for Litecoin USD and the 2020, 21, 2022 price action. We see a lot of similarities, bear market, accumulation, first markup, mid-cycle, consolidation, reaccumulation, and the final blow off top. Most likely, and I'm saying most likely because there are no certainties in the market, there is every possibility that we could be at the reaccumulation phase for Litecoin at the moment. And I see tremendous similarities even on the fibs and how this entire structure is playing out. If I zoom in, it's taking us a lot more time in this cycle. So there's clearly some form of a lengthening of a cycle that is happening here. And check this out. I do see that we're making a structure something like this. And once we clear out this range, the uptrend could potentially continue for one final big leg up to end this entire bull run for Litecoin. Even on the Bitcoin chart, Litecoin is looking extremely strong. Historically, every time we have reached these kind of support levels against the BTC pair, Litecoin towards the end of the bull run has performed extremely well. And we've seen this not just on a Litecoin chart, but Litecoin and even Dogecoin have a lot of similarities over the years in terms of the two price actions play out. And if you look at what happened around December 2020, that time, if you notice, Litecoin did not make any all-time lows, but Dogecoin did against the BTC pair. It was extremely undervalued as compared to BTC, and look where Doge went from there on. We seem to be hitting the support. We bounced off nicely there. On the BTC pair, on the shorter time frames, we are attempting a breakout from this trend line. And I do see Litecoin setting up for some major moves. And we see a lot of evidence on what is happening on the large wallets as far as Litecoin goes. If you look at some of the recent activity, this is 15th of Jan, and if you look at the amount of Litecoin that the whales are accumulating at the moment, this is as of today, 17th of Jan 2022, and there's literally 250 million worth of Litecoin that was just purchased today. These are not small buys. Each of these are just in the month of Jan itself. And in fact, I was doing a very simple math. I think that it's in excess of $1 billion worth of Litecoin that the top 10 wallet holders have been accumulating consistently over the last few weeks. So I do think that something big is coming up on Litecoin, and it's just a matter of time that it starts exploding and starts breaking out on the upside. On this note, I do want to give a big shout out to misconfig_exe for putting out some absolutely amazing content on Litecoin. In fact, the detailed Litecoin video that I did, that I highly encourage you to watch, does have direct references to some of the research that he's put out back in July 2021. Absolutely fantastic member of the Litecoin community, great analysis. I highly recommend that you please check out his work. A big shout out to him, and please give him a follow as well. When I was scanning through some of the charts earlier today, I did get this notification on Whale Alert of almost $5 million worth of MATIC being taken off Binance into an unknown wallet. That tempted me to jump into the MATIC chart, and let's take a closer look. The first thing I like to do is I like to start on the higher time frames. Look at the monthly chart. What an absolutely explosive run it has had over the last 12 months plus. It's been a brilliant year for MATIC price action wise. I think it's had, my goodness, over 15,000% of jump in less than 12 months. Of course, after this comes some bit of consolidation and profit booking right here. And there's some reaccumulation and consolidation going on here. Let's come down to some of the low time frames. Let's take a look at the weekly. We clearly see that there is an ascending triangle with a flat top. Now, what does this indicate? There's profit booking right here. There is a lot of buying pressure on the lower end of this range. And buy pressure is actually higher than the sell pressure. And that's why price is consistently moving up. Now, there are multiple plays and multiple ways to look at this. I do believe that a lot of traders would have taken a very simple textbook trade. You take the height of this entire pattern, of this entire ascending triangle, and put it at the point of the breakout, and that gives you a technical target somewhere here, somewhere about $3.2. Now, where have we seen something like that? And this is the most fascinating part. When I zoom out, this structure to me reminds of a chart that I'm all too familiar with. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that MATIC is following the footprint of the Ethereum 2017 bull run. A massive run, mid-cycle high, consolidation and reaccumulation. We form this ascending triangle right here. There's a breakout, retest of the prior resistance, flipped into support, and boom, here we go. Is MATIC doing something very similar? Very, very possible. There is also a second possibility in case we do not hold this line right here, the prior resistance. We have seen that every time we get back into the range, it does take a fair bit of time for us to get back out of this. Where have we seen something like that? Well, we've seen that on Bitcoin chart. We've seen that on Ethereum chart very recently. Look at what's been happening on Ethereum and Bitcoin. It had a very similar pattern right here. We broke out of the prior range, but it's back in the range. On the MATIC chart, there is a pattern that I believe could potentially be playing out, and that pattern is called the leading diagonal. A leading diagonal essentially has a larger first wave, second wave, and then the entire triangle, if you notice, starts contracting right here. So a smaller third wave and an even smaller fifth wave, and the corrective wave. So this is the first wave, if you may, and then the second wave actually comes down below the fourth wave. If something like that were to play out for MATIC, it could still come down and correct to under $1.5. So I would look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So something like that. It is a possibility that we do something like that. And then it comes down somewhere around this range, perhaps, to make the second wave. And then it continues to the third, fourth, and the fifth to finish off this entire bull cycle. All right, to summarize, I think Bitcoin is still consolidating. It's still trying to make a solid base. One of the three scenarios is likely to play out. We do not know which one. I think we'll just have to wait and see what Bitcoin does next. Litecoin, on the other hand, is still looking very, very strong, both on the USD pair as well as on the Bitcoin pair, so LTCBTC. There is tremendous evidence of solid accumulation happening by large whales, looking at some of the top holders of Litecoin. And we also compared the MATIC chart with the Ethereum chart and saw the similarities between how MATIC is following the footsteps of Ethereum. Now, two possibilities from here. A, if the current resistance that it had, if that holds and if it's able to flip that into support, we could see further continuation to the upside. Or B, if we get back in the range, there is a possibility we may come down slightly lower to sub $1.5 levels and then perhaps continue to complete this bull cycle. Guys, thank you so very much for watching this video today. I cannot thank you enough for the support that you have shown for my previous video. It is very, very encouraging for me. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification button so that you get an update every time I put out new content. I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research. Stay safe, stay awesome. Thank you so very much for joining in, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.